There's a quiet thought that so many traders carry around, a thought they almost never say out loud. It sounds something like this: I'm doing the work, but I still don't feel like a real trader. They study the charts. They journal their trades. They follow their rules, at least most of the time. They show up consistently every single day. And yet, something still feels missing. They feel like they're pretending, like they're still on the outside looking in. Like one bad losing streak could expose them for what they secretly fear they are: an imposter. They look at other traders on social media or in their community and think, now they're real traders. I'm just still trying to become one. Let me tell you, that feeling is more common than almost anyone ever admits. And it has nothing to do with how smart you are, how much effort you're putting in, or how committed you are to this path. It has everything to do with how our identity actually forms. Most people assume that our identity changes instantly once our behavior changes. That the moment you start trading seriously, you should feel like a trader. But identity just doesn't work that way. Identity is slow. It lags far behind your behavior. And when you don't understand that lag, you start doubting yourself unnecessarily, creating friction that doesn't need to be there. Let's talk about why this happens. When you first start trading, you probably have a very clear, almost cinematic idea of what a real trader looks like. It's someone who is always confident, someone who is effortlessly consistent, someone who is perfectly calm under pressure, someone who never hesitates, never spirals emotionally, never makes a stupid mistake. That idealized image becomes your internal benchmark. And every single time you don't match it perfectly, your brain flags you as not there yet. But here's the problem with that. That image is a fantasy. Not because real, successful traders don't exist, of course they do, but because no trader on this planet feels that way internally all the time. What you're comparing yourself to is an external projection. You're comparing your behind-the-scenes reality to someone else's highlight reel. You're comparing your process to their finished product. Meanwhile, you're living inside the messages of the process, inside the day-to-day uncertainty, inside the mistakes, inside the emotional work it takes to stay disciplined. So the comparison is fundamentally unfair from the very start. And yet, your brain uses it against you anyway. It whispers, a real trader wouldn't hesitate here. A real trader wouldn't feel this anxious right now. A real trader would never make that mistake again. And every single time that voice speaks up, your sense of identity as a trader weakens. You start feeling like an imposter, like you're just borrowing a role you haven't truly earned yet. But let's get crystal clear on something incredibly important. Feeling like a real trader does not come from your results. It doesn't come from one big win that changes your life. It doesn't come from a long consistency streak. And it definitely doesn't come from your account size. Those things are great, but they don't create a new identity. At best, they momentarily quiet the doubt, but they don't resolve the underlying issue. That's why even traders who become consistently profitable sometimes still feel like they're faking it. Because identity isn't built by outcomes. It's built by the simple, unglamorous repetition of behavior, day in and day out. But your brain doesn't immediately recognize this. Your brain is wired to wait for symbolic moments. It's looking for a milestone, a certain number in your account, a specific winning streak, or a feeling of absolute certainty. The problem is, trading rarely provides those things reliably. So you stay stuck in this limbo. You're doing the behaviors of a trader ... But you're not owning the identity of a trader. This creates a strange internal split. On one hand, you're taking trading incredibly seriously. On the other, you don't fully trust yourself to execute. That split shows up as hesitation. You second-guess your read on a perfect setup. You defer your decisions, waiting for extra confirmation that never comes. You look outside of yourself for answers, not because you don't know what to do, but because a part of you doesn't feel authorized to act on what you know. That's identity friction, and it's completely exhausting. So let's talk about how identity actually truly forms. It is not a light switch that you flip. It's a slow, quiet accumulation of evidence. Every time you follow your rules under pressure, you add a piece of evidence. Every time you accept a loss without spiraling into revenge trading, you add another piece. Every time you walk away from the screen when you know you should, avoid an impulse trade, or show up consistently, even when it's boring or uncomfortable, you are adding a small brick to the foundation of your identity. This isn't evidence that you're profitable yet. It's evidence that you are reliable, that you can trust yourself to do what you say you're going to do. Over time, that evidence compounds. And then one day, usually very quietly, something shifts. You stop asking yourself, am I a real trader? And you start thinking, this is just what I do. The shift doesn't come with fireworks or a grand announcement. It sneaks up on you. And because it's so subtle, many traders miss it entirely. They keep waiting to feel like a trader. But the feeling comes after the identity has already formed, not before. This is where most aspiring traders get completely stuck. They wait to feel ready, to feel confident, to feel like a trader before they commit to behaving like one consistently. But identity works in the exact opposite direction. You behave first. You repeat the behavior. Then identity follows. Then confidence follows. And then stability follows. Let's talk for a moment about the emotional cost of waiting to feel ready. When you don't feel like a real trader yet, every single decision you make feels heavier. Every loss feels like definitive proof that you're not cut out for this. Every mistake feels like a confirmation of your deepest fears. And every win just feels temporary, like a fluke. That emotional weight makes trading so much harder than it needs to be. Because now, you're not just managing your trades. You're managing your entire self-image in real time. And that steals precious mental focus and energy. This is precisely why so many traders say, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do, but I just can't trust myself to do it. It's not a skill issue. It's an identity gap. And identity gaps don't close through more thinking, more analysis, or more studying. They close through behavior. So here's a powerful reframe for you. You don't become a real trader when you stop making mistakes. You become a real trader when mistakes no longer threaten your identity. When taking a loss doesn't make you question everything about your strategy and yourself. When a drawdown doesn't make you feel like a total fraud. When uncertainty doesn't paralyze you, but is simply part of the process. That is maturity. And maturity comes from experience, not from perfection. And let's address the other big thing that keeps traders stuck: comparison. You compare your internal, messy experience to other people's external, polished results. They look confident. They look certain. They look composed. You feel messy, uncertain, and emotional. So you naturally assume you're falling behind. But that's not reality. That's a perspective bias. Every single trader you admire has felt exactly what you're feeling right now. The only difference is they didn't stop because of it. They didn't wait for permission from their feelings to act like a professional. They kept behaving like a professional long before they ever felt like one. That's the part that nobody ever posts about on social media. So here's what I want you to stop doing, starting today. Stop waiting for a magical moment where you finally feel like you belong. Stop waiting for confidence to just appear out of thin air. Stop waiting for more proof. Instead, redefine what a real trader actually is. A real trader is not someone who feels confident all the time. A real trader is simply someone who trades according to their rules, manages their risk consistently, accepts the inherent uncertainty of the market, stays emotionally contained, and shows up again tomorrow, ready to do it all over again. That's it. Nothing flashy, nothing dramatic. Just reliable, professional behavior. And here's the uncomfortable truth. If you are already doing those things, even if you're doing them inconsistently, you are already in the process of becoming a real trader. Your identity just hasn't caught up yet. That doesn't mean you're behind. It just means you're early in the process. And the early stages of anything worthwhile feel unstable by definition. So instead of asking, when will this finally feel real? Ask yourself a much better question. What is the one behavior a professional would repeat today? Then go and do that. And repeat it again tomorrow. And again the day after that. One day, you'll look up and realize the question completely disappeared. And that's the trader's hidden edge. If this resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe for more trading psychology insights, and leave a comment below. Tell us, what do you think would finally make you feel like a real trader? We are looking forward to your comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.